Hello, goddess-loving folks, or at least curious folks about the divine feminine. Deborah Roth here from Spirited Living, and I have an interesting installation today in our Inner Goddess Team series she is Yuki Onna, and when I'm moving past my hello Roberta, I'm moving past my focus on the healing goddesses, which I was doing for the last month and a half, almost 2 months, because my newly replaced knee at the beginning of January is healing very well. So I wanted to focus on winter goddesses. And when I went looking, several showed up. Many I've already done, but this one was intriguing to me. And then when I started, so that's what I decided to do. And then when I started researching, it's like, whoa, she's kind of a different one, and you'll see why. So, and I would love if anybody knows more stories about her, because I read so many. There's so many variations of her stories. So Yuki Onna is known as the Snow Maiden, known by many things, the goddess of death, of cold, the goddess of blizzards, the snow woman. She's not, and I keep saying the word goddess because that's how the very first place that I found her referred to as a goddess. But as I researched more, she's actually a spirit. She's actually a supernatural being that may indeed at some point have come about in the lore in Japan from someone who died in the cold. But what Yuki Onna does, her main thing, is that she comes to people who are caught in a blizzard or who are caught in a snowstorm and who are dying, basically, who are freezing to death. And she's always portrayed as this beautiful, oh no, did I not bring her picture over with me? I'll have to put it in the comments or something afterwards. She's always portrayed as a beautiful woman with long black hair, dressed all in white, skin very pale. And she appears, and literally kind of the kiss of death. As people are nearing death from hypothermia, she gives them a kiss and draws out very gently their life breath so that they can die gently. That's the version that I liked, and there were a couple like that. Apparently, there's a different story about her in all kinds of different provinces all over Japan. She has attributes like a vampire. I mean, there's the kiss of death, the bringing death by putting her lips to yours. She floats across the snow and doesn't leave footprints. She grows larger when she's around cold water, and kind of like the Wicked Witch of the West, I guess. That's so cool. That's so true, Roberta. But then she disappears. She literally like melts if she's exposed to hot air or to hot water. So her stories really run the gamut from being this very gentle, loving, helpful, helping people to pass through the pain of dying, of freezing to death, to really fearsome and kind of deadly. And in fact, up until the 18th century, I think I read, she's only portrayed as evil. And after that, you start seeing some more of these other stories about her. So one of the things I always love to do with these Inner Goddess Team videos is to invite you to call on them, the particular goddess for, if you need nurturing or if you need healing, as I've done for the last couple videos. This one, I guess if you're freezing to death, you could call on her. But I do want to tell you the story that I think shows the gentle side of her, and think about invoking her however you want. But she's actually so known in Japan, and she's kind of like, she's called, or they're called, not just Yuki Onna, but the Yuki Onna, or a Yuki Onna, that there are many different spirits. So kind of like Baba Yaga, or kind of like the boogeyman, that, you know, if you're not, and she apparently has been used, I don't know if she's used in modern times, but in older times, she was used as, you know, if you don't eat your cereal, or if you forget to close the front door, you know, to your children, Yuki Onna is going to come get you. So she's not always invoked as in a happy way, but this particular story, I think, just gives a really beautiful look at the gentle side of her. And hopefully I will not completely massacre the names of some of these Japanese names. This was in a village in the Musashi province. There lived two woodcutters, an older one, Mosaku, who was a very old man, and Minokichi, who was 18 years old, a young man. And they've gone off into the woods to cut wood. And to do that, they have to cross a river. And there's a ferryman that takes them across the river. A huge storm comes up, a big snowstorm, a big blizzard. They make their way back to the river and discover that the ferryman is not there, that he's parked his ferry on the other side. So they are able, his hut is there where he, you know, squirrels away and keeps warm. So they go into his hut and they barricade the door. There's no insulation. It's still freezing. They can hear the wind howling around outside, and it just gets colder and colder and colder. And at some point, they fall asleep, which is, you know, the first stages of hypothermia. And at some point, Minokichi wakes up because the door blows open, even though they've barricaded it, and he sees a beautiful woman coming into the hut. And she bends over the old man, the Mosaku, and blows her breath on him. And her breath is like this bright white smoke, very beautiful and peaceful. And then she turns and approaches Minokichi and stoops over him, and he's very afraid, and he says, no, you know, I don't want to. He tries to say it. He can't utter a sound, but his voice is frozen. And she says to him, remember, he's 18 years old, "Hello, pretty boy." This is what the myth said. "I will not hurt you now, but I'll let you go. But if you recover and if you tell anyone what you've seen here tonight, I will know and I will kill you." So he's able to stay alive through this whole process. And hi Jeff, he's able to stay alive, and they nurse him back to health. His older mentor has died because, of course, we know that Yuki, and he doesn't tell anyone that Yuki Onna, you know, did her breath of snow death on him. And then several years later, he meets a beautiful young lady named Oyuki. Remember, her name was Yuki Onna. Yuki apparently means snow. You would think this guy would make the connection, but apparently not. They got married, they loved each other, they had many children. They had like 8 or 10 children. But mysteriously, she never aged. Even with all those kids, she never looked like she was getting older. Yes, definitely story time. And so at one point, after the children were asleep, Minokichi says to Youki, "You know, whenever I look at you, you're just so beautiful. You remind me of a woman that I met long ago, and who was also beautiful. And it was just this mysterious incident that happened. When I was young, I met a beautiful young lady named you. I didn't know it was a dream or if she was a Yuki Onna." He describes her as that kind of spirit, and he tells the whole story. After finishing the story, Oyuki stands up and she yells, "That woman was me, and I told you that I would kill you if you ever told that story to anyone. However, I can't kill you because I can't leave our children without a father. And we need someone to take care of a father because I now need to disappear." And she melted and she disappeared. And no one saw her again. So that's the nicer story of of Yuki Onna. Definitely do some research on your own. You can find some of the more vampire-like ones and the ones where she's portrayed as pure evil. In the end, she comes through. She does not take his life. So enjoy that kind of different myth, that look at a goddess who isn't really a goddess. And let me know if you find anything more about her. I promise next time it will be a real goddess that you can call on and invoke when you're not dying in the middle of a snowstorm. Thanks for joining me, and have a great evening, day, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.